Welcome to Post Colonial Space. I'm Masood Raja. And today I'll briefly explain something that came up in a comment on a video. And that was how to use 2 or 3 contradictory theories in the body of one paper. So this was in a response to a video where I discuss how to use theory, where I kind of suggest that people should make sure that the theories that they're using in reading a text or writing about it, they correspond well with each other, right? So for example, if you're using Foucault and later Foucault, who's a post-structuralist, then don't just add quotes from someone who believes in the essence of things and in a centralized subject, because they would contradict each other. But the question this time was, can we use theories that otherwise are irreconcilable? And the short answer is yes, but a longer answer would be that in a qualified manner. How? So the best way to do it is you can set out in your essay, I will explain this aspect of Heart of Darkness using Marx Capital Volume 1, and in which he discusses the rise of capital. I'm just making this thing up. And then if you go to a part where you're moving outside of a Marxian reading of the text and coming back to, let's say, a more aesthetical reading of the text, right? So point out, okay, so far I've done the materialistic reading of the text, but I think an aesthetic or a spiritual reading is also important, for which I have to imagine a centralized human subject capable of thought stemming from inside. And for that, I'll be moving out of Marx and using this and this philosopher or theory. State your reason. Also acknowledge in a footnote or in the body of the text that you understand that this theory that you're now using doesn't reconcile with the materialistic reading. But as long as you give your reason and explain it, you should be fine with it. So yes, you can use theories that are otherwise irreconcilable in the body of a paper, as long as you let the reader know that you are knowingly doing that. So why are we doing that? For 2 reasons at least. One, so that those who are opposed to your points of view don't just read your essay and say, well, you're using 2 theories here and they are irreconcilable, right? And so that's how they could refute your claims. Or when the essay goes to the reviewers could point it out, that this is uncritical use of 2 theories that are irreconcilable. So by adding a caveat or an explanation in your paper, you're safeguarding against those kind of criticisms of your work. And that's highly important. Now, if you want to read probably the best example of a scholar using various theories, some of them probably not really reconcilable to each other in the body of one paper, please read Gayatri Spivak's Can the Subaltern Speak? I have full videos on it. You can watch those videos, but read the essay. So first of all, she is doing a materialistic, deconstructive, feminist reading. Think of that. In the same body of work, in the same essay, she is talking about the general theory of ideology and the global division of labor, which are Marxist terms, without which, according to her, Foucault and Deleuze cannot understand the post-colonial subject, right? So she's using Marx. She gives us one whole section on Marx and how Marx constitutes class, right, in the 18th Borromeo. Then she goes to Derrida, Jacques Derrida. Jacques Derrida is famous for deconstruction. He's not a materialist critic, right? But she gives us a reason, right? In the beginning of that section where she uses Derrida, she declares that to her, Derrida is the greatest of ethical philosophers. And she's juxtaposing his work against Deleuze and Foucault's work. And what she's saying is the reason Derrida is a better philosopher for the kind of work she's doing is because Derrida does not conflate the other with the self. For Derrida, the other, alterity, is already there the moment a subject utters the I. So it's an acknowledgement that the self is constructed through the gaze of the other, that the other is always there. That's why she is going to Derrida, right? But she's also going to Derrida because she is deconstructing the term representation and its two connotations, right? And then after she has discussed Derrida, she comes back to a more political reading of an instance in Indian history to prove her point that even when the subaltern speaks in her death, her own relatives misread the act, and hence there is a need for the scholars to continue trying to represent the subaltern, right? So a lot of people misread that essay, but I am using that example as an essay that uses a critique of Foucault and Deleuze, one particular statement or assertions from them, uses Marx to suggest that without a general theory of ideology, thinking class and the subaltern will end up creating a universal subject of the West, right? And then she goes to Derrida to give us insights into how to think the other. And then she also cites Pierre Machery's work, right? Reading the silences of the text. 4 or 5 theorists, some reconcilable. Pierre Machery is reconcilable with Marxism, of course, but Derrida. But wherever she takes us to these different theorists or different scholars, she creates a bridge. She lets her know why she is doing that. So remember, if a scholar of Gayatri Spivak's stature gives us a reason why she is going to Derrida, why she is going to Marx, you, me, and everyone else, when we employ theories, we should be careful in pointing out why we are using a certain theoretical approach to read a certain part of the text, and when we move away from there and employ another theory, even if it is from a different school and irreconcilable with the one we were previously using, explain your reasons. You will only not be doing your job well if you give us a block quote from Foucault and then read 2 parts of the text, and a block quote from Derrida and read 2-3 parts of the text. That's something that I've seen in undergraduate writing. So avoid that. So to sum up, yes, you can use theories that otherwise might be irreconcilable, but you have to use them carefully and explain your reasons as to why at a certain point in your essay or in your dissertation, you're shifting from one theoretical approach to a completely different theoretical approach. And as long as you can do that, you'll be fine. So that's all for right now. I hope this was useful to you. I will continue posting these videos. Please let me know if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions. I'll be happy to address them when I have time. Thank you so much for your support. Stay safe, take care of each other, be generous, and I will now see you next time. Until then, peace and love.